Hello everyone, I'm D-Mind, the mind of one and all, and welcome back to another episode of Brilliant Shadows. Alright, I'm trying to get a hold of what the situation in this story. So in the last episode we introduced our main characters, Ash, I guess Hector is in it too, and Pruitt. And well, we learn about paladins and necromancers and pairing rituals and bah. Alright, but Ash didn't get pet. Well, actually she did get pet, but she couldn't find a partner. She's the only one who's, well, alone. So either someone's lying or she's just a lone pair, which would be, I guess, not normal. And now we are getting a visit from Hector. That's actually kinda creepy, yeah, because he said he knows when everyone wakes up. Well, I am creepy. There's no escaping that fact. It does not lessen my abilities nor invalidate my competence. Ash struggled to conceal the smirk. She hadn't said it as a joke. You really are going to get along with Pruitt? I hope so. It would certainly be unfortunate for a parent to not get along. Now may I see your mark? Ash let a smile break through as she offered her hand. When he had been a teacher, Hector had always seemed strict and very much a know-it-all. There was a certain amount of comfort in knowing that such an individual was concerned for her now. Yeah, kinda awkward that he would be overly concerned for Ash. But I guess he was paired with Pruitt and Pruitt is like her best friend, but you know. But why was she so concerned? She decided she might as well ask. Why is you concerned with me? That should be obvious. Do you know the stigma that comes with failing to be paired? Most students simply leave the school, abandon the profession. It's a shame that haunts you. The desperation, 2 years of being unwanted. You begin to feel that any length is nothing to achieve the recognition you deserve. Hector seemed to suddenly notice what he was saying and snapped back to the present. I see, so he's trying to sympathize with you. But you have it far worse than I did. You don't even have the hope of being paired because once you have a mark, you cannot be paired again. I see, so once you're paired, you cannot remove the pair at all. Even if the person dies, I think, yeah. Yeah, believe me, I've tried, and so have others. Wow, way to make me feel better. Sorry, but you asked me why I was helping you. The truth is that I don't want anyone to be in the same situation I was, let alone the best friend of my pairing partner. Yeah, I guess. Hector smiled. It was an expression that Ash had never seen during the entire year he had been teaching, or the year before it. It was genuine, it was warm, it was caring. It was who he had been before the ritual where he had been left alone. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Did you learn anything? Hector let go of her hand and let out a sigh. I truly wish I could say yes, but no, I'm still quite lost. I just can't determine what would cause this. The spell has never failed. There is no precedence. My only thought is that it might have succeeded in an unexpected manner. For example, you paired with someone who was kidnapped immediately after the ritual. Wouldn't you know who has been kidnapped? Like, oh, that person's missing. That seems highly unlikely, but a part of me thinks it's more likely than the spell failing. Is that why you were so concerned when Pruitt didn't speak up? No, that was me being a tad manic and immediately panicking. Prudent silence merely provoked a bit of foolishness from me. Hector sighed, and for a moment he looked ancient. Do you need to sleep? Maybe something to eat? No, not at all. I have so much work to do. Come on, there's still some of the food you brought us yesterday. Is there? Hector looked longingly towards the spread. Well, I suppose a few moments of indulgence could not possibly cost me a breakthrough. He ate like a ravenous fiend. Ash suddenly wondered exactly how many meals he had skipped. The counter now mostly clear of food, Hector let out a long yawn. Sit down, Hector. Ash patted the bed. Why in light and shadow would I do that? I have so much work to do. I want to talk to you about the incident. Maybe if I tell you more about what happened leading up to it, you might figure something out. I suppose we could review it again. Hector sat on the bed and something seemed to finally give way in him. By Ash's estimate, he had skipped sleep 2 nights in a row. Oh wow. Hector's head drooped, and in a moment he fell over. Ash tucked him in as she finished what little food remained after Hector had inhaled the majority. She found it hard to believe, but a part of her wanted to forgive the man for having stolen the pairing with Prudence. He was quickly proving himself to be what Prudence's initial estimate had been, a good man. Another part made her simply resent him more. Taking a deep breath, Ash looked around her room. It didn't take a second glance to tell her she needed to be looking at something else. Where to go? Our first choice! Save. Blah. Go to the gardens or go to the training grounds. Huh. Well, since you're in grief, I would say go to the gardens. Might help cool you off. Some fresh air and the scent of roses that went long since dried out would do her well. Yeah. With that thought in mind, Ash drew a book from her shelf. It was one of many she had read more than a dozen times before for research. Tucking the book under her arm, she slid out the door, not locking it behind herself. Did you just lock Hector in his room or what? In the room? Or can you open it? The walk to the garden was spent with the book as a blinder, obscuring the path directly before her. Not that it was one she needed to see to walk, she had taken that path almost every day for 16 years. The book itself was so familiar she may as well recite it as read it. She had discovered it in her 11th year. It had been in the Paladin section of the library. The title was Healing Plants. She had at first assumed from the title it was a glossary of medicinal herbs. The actual contents were quite different. Though the book was old, it contained documentation into an entirely new technique. A lot of exposition, I guess. It documented a paladin's forays into attempting to heal plants. Ultimately, the very author determined the research, though successful, useless. Ash had seen it from another perspective. If one could perform one of the pairing magics upon a plant, why couldn't one perform the opposite? She had then begun her research into plant reanimation. Having finally graduated and paired, this should have been her golden opportunity to actually put her research to the test. Lacking a pair from which to draw the light needed, however, she left her where she had been the last 5 years. Unidentified girl, light and shadows. The rancor in the girl's voice was enough to peel her eyes from the book and to the garden around her. When exactly had she arrived? She had been really into it. Huh. A girl stood at the far end of the mostly empty garden. Her hand was outstretched and she was sweating as she strained. Come on. The girl's intensity made the air feel heavy. Her pale face, a complexionary side effect of being a necromancer. It's a complexionary side effect for being a necromancer, huh? Oh well, I guess. Was beginning to darken and redden. Please? The girl's outstretched hand reflects. At once, the girl collapsed, panting desperately. You okay? The girl started, her eyes looking to Ash with fear. I'm fine, don't bother me, can't you see I'm training? The young necromancer's eyes were heavy with tears. Ash wondered if the girl could even recognize her through that haze. I'm sorry, do you need help? No, I don't need help from anyone. I can pass my exams, no problem. With that, the girl turned on her heel and was away at a run. If a slow one. Huh. Grumpy one? Well, okay then. Ash shrugged and turned back to her book. She was sure the girl could use some help, but she wasn't about to offer it. She doubted she could really be of assistance anyway, with her own plate already tall with her own problems. What you reading there? Another necromancer, huh? I would have assumed from your getup you were... what? A paladin. Not to mention... you don't have pale skin like what the necromancers usually have. A new girl had appeared and she leaned over Ash with an interest and enthusiasm that reminded her of the day she had found the book. A shiver raced down her spine. Sorry, too close? The girl stepped back. Yeah, and she have a sword too. Isn't she a paladin? It's a book on healing plants. Nope, but apparently she's a necromancer. Healing plants? That doesn't sound particularly useful. Not unless you have sentient plants or something. Wait, there aren't sentient plants, are there? Heh, no, or at least none I'm aware of. I used the book as a reference for my own research. It's become a kind of comfort read for me. Oh, I know about those. I had a copy of the monster manual as a kid. I can't make it past Aboleth without nodding off right off. What? Aboleth? What was this girl on about? Yeah, something like that. So, what kind of research are you doing? The girl was twirling a rose between her fingers. I'm trying to develop a method to reanimate plants. I was hoping to test out my spells once I had been paired, but Ash simply chilled off, not really wanting to go into the details of the situation. Yeah, I don't really understand the whole pairing thing. Ash cocked an eyebrow at the girl. She looked the same age as her. Surely she should be years into her ritual training by now. Well, not yet anyway. Not completely. Oh wait, that's Necromancer girl. Their names are in green. Blah. So, reanimating plants. That sounds more useful than healing them. With a small smile, the girl carefully laid the rose on the book. Could you bring back a field of failed crops or something? I know yet. It may leave the crops devoid of nutrition, so that may not be an option. I don't know what it can be used for, to be honest, or even if it can be done. Just need to push the limits one way or another, huh? Ash nodded and stared at the phoenix on her hand. It's a pretty bird. What is it? Was she asking what a mark was? No, that was rude to even assume. It only took her a moment to realize what the girl had meant. Oops. Back. It's the phoenix mark. I don't know what it supposedly means though. I don't buy into mark interpretation. Do you know anyone else with the mark? No, it's pretty rare apparently, meaning the only other person with my mark is my pair. Idly, Ash's eyes fell to the girl's hands. She wore gloves that was odd. Ash, are you here? Pruitt's voice came from behind her and Ash turned on instinct. Ash, was it? Ash turned to see the girl giving a small wave. It looks like you have company. I'll excuse myself. Good luck on your research. The girl smiled as she departed, and Ash smiled back. She had gloves, but she's a necromancer. Was she a necromancer though? I mean, she had a sword, and she didn't have pale skin, and, she wore bright clothes. I know. Ash knew it would only be a matter of time before Pruitt found her. Pruitt was like that. Always caring. The two of them walked together back towards Ash's room. At least it doesn't look like it was me that woke you up this time. No, just Hector. He lost consciousness on my bed. Wait. Did he pass out while checking on you? Yes, and might I add that it's nice to know that you didn't immediately assume the worst. Please, while I won't say I couldn't imagine romance forming between you two, I doubt either of you are the type to find yourself in bed so early into it. The two laughed a little too loudly, perhaps. After a time, Ash slowed her pace, turning to look at Pruitt. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I'm sorry that you're going to be stuck here with me. I know you were really looking forward to returning home and joining the King's Guard. It's okay, I'm sure my mom can wait a bit longer. Excusing that, if it meant being away from my best friend, I wouldn't really want to go. Ash knew the comment was supposed to comfort, but guilt strangled her. You know that we're going to have to separate eventually, even if we figure out what is happening with my mark. The fact remains that you were paired to Hector. Even if it turns out I wasn't properly paired, we still weren't paired to each other. Well, my reasoning is that whoever you are eventually paired with will still end up paired. Ash's heart beat quickly and she could feel a blush in her cheeks. Thanks for saying that. We promised we'd always be together, right? Though it's strange to think that there could be others involved in our little friendship. I barely knew Hector until the ritual. Funny, he knew you. He did? She seemed far too eager to hear more about Ash's last remark. He came to wake me up the day of the ceremony only minutes after yourself. He commented that it wasn't really a surprise that you have taken the time to wake me up. That's it? Huh. I wonder if there was a personal reason for him knowing me, or if he just happens to have taken the time to memorize the identity of every student. I honestly wouldn't be surprised either way, though I don't know which is creepier. Hey, he's still my partner, you shouldn't call him creepy. My apologies, my dear, but I do believe it was he who called himself creepy. Or would you disagree with him? Pruitt cocked her head in an exaggerated thought. I suppose I really can't argue with an expert. The two laughed. It was a familiar sensation, and for a moment the shock of the ritual was finally, if however temporarily, behind them. Should we maybe go for a walk and let him nap? Yeah. I'm glad he's sleeping. I was actually starting to feel tired from the amount of sleep he was skipping. So I wrote my mother with the news. How did she handle it? As well as can be expected. So poorly? Pruitt nodded. She says my duty to the kingdom is far greater than my duty to my school, and commands I leave at once. A greater concern is that the contract for our hedge has come up, and Aku says she has another position already waiting for her. Mother had been planning quite specifically for my prompt return. It would be nice to explain who the Hedge is and Aku. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. Tell her that for me. Oh, she knows. She says that I should just bring Heck with me, and I quote, "Let the sodding moldy sack who calls themselves heads suck one." Oh my, that's quite colorful language for royalty. I know, I'm sure she was quite proud of it. She's royalty? So what are you going to do? Oops. Shouldn't mouse over things. Return. Well, my plan is similar to her own, save for one point she did not account for. I intend to bring you. What? Have a trio instead of a pair? Until we find that other phoenix, yes. That's ridiculous. It will only be a trio in name only. I wouldn't be able to actually contribute to pairing magic. I see, so they... Nah, I was wondering why paladins and necromancers needs to pair. So that they can use pairing magic, they need to pair their magic together. Huh. Kind of like... Nah, I wouldn't say kind of like an octave higher. I mean, octave higher has combo magic, but if you have both elements within you, you can cast that anyway by yourself. But you know, same principle. I think it's a good idea. Leaving you here is just tragic. That certainly sheds a positive light on my predicament. I plan to have Hack speak with the heads. He might be able to convince them of the need to get you away from here. I only just noticed it, but are you calling him Hack? Yeah, I'm Pruitt, you're Ash, and he's Hack. Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Why does he get a nickname already? Well, I'm stuck with him for a long time one way or another. Might as well let him in fun a little early, no? Ash forced a smile. So back to the matter at hand, why do you insist on Hack talking to the heads? Shouldn't you have more clout, seeing as you're of royal lineage? You should know this better than I, but I think Hack's stronger than either of the heads alone, at least in terms of magical ability. Did you notice when he picked a fight with Zakaria in your room? Yeah, that was strange. He tried to kill her! He took a knife and tried to stab her! And you're like, alright, cool. Like, alright, you tried to kill me, alright, calm down, alright, cool. I noticed the blood, and when she kicked him in the stomach. And why she kicked him? Like, why? Why suddenly did they... Yeah, he disagreed with how they handled the situation, but... You know, there's a difference between disagreeing and trying to kill. I mean, like... Is it appropriate for the heads to kick him just because of a disagreement, and then him taking a knife and trying to stab her? Like... That's so bizarre. Like, why? That's not a thing. That's not common. Maybe it is in this world, but... I don't get this story. And so far, the story... I wouldn't say has been mainly exposition, but... It has been a lot of description. Not much of story going on so far. I mean, other than the whole ritual part. And what, he attacked them? More or less. I didn't really see what escalated the argument, but by the time I was there, Zakaria was on the ground and Luciana was turning purple with her golems, while her golems were pummeling him into submission. That's... Okay, I'm not gonna question it. Ash, he was a student 2 years ago. They are the heads of their orders. He shouldn't be that strong. Despite the confrontation, they had a certain degree of respect for him. They were fighting, beating each other up. That's not a thing you do. Sounds more like they have a certain degree of fear. Still, they will listen to him more than myself. I can't imagine they will still be willing to let us go. At some point, it won't be worth it for them to keep us here any longer. There really isn't. There's only so much they can do to investigate this without resorting to something drastic like Hat wanted to try. So what will I do there? Oh, I'm sure that my mother will find yourself for a trio of mages. And what if I never find the truth behind my mark? Then you're still a capable necromancer who will, if nothing else, have a position in court. And no chance of high adventure, I suppose. Perhaps not, but there was that risk when we decided to join the King's Guard. Prudence, Veronica, why are you about? Is there a reason we shouldn't be? Oh, so she's Zakaria. I was just... Alright. Dearest goddess, I pray you are not taking after Hector so quickly. I hope the year or two of shame might have struck a bit of that arrogance, but apparently it only made it infectious. And she's Luciana. The necromancer is Luciana. Zakaria, there's no need to be so controlling. The girls are graduates after all. They may be graduates, but they are also involved in what... Or is it still... Or Zakaria is still... I do not know who is Zakaria and who is the other one. Oh well. They may be graduates, but they are also involved in what may be the greatest scandal our school has ever experienced. I'm sure we will find out what has happened in time. Hector is busy looking to it right now. Zakaria's nerd. Alright, so I think Zakaria is the paladin here. Why? We are conducting an investigation of our own. We do not need the assistance of a freshly paired pup to... Luciana began laughing and Zakaria looked embarrassed for a moment. Zakaria is still a bit sore over losing. I did not lose. He caught me off guard. Even the best of warriors cannot easily counter a sneak attack. Of course, my love, a sneak attack. Now, to be frank, we are entirely fine with Mr. Warlock pursuing his own line of research, but both Zakaria and I agree that there is likely a much more mundane explanation to this. We do not understand the exact limitations of the ritual. Most likely, there was someone performing the ritual at its absolute maximum range, possibly even outside the mountain. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe someone not in the school, someone somewhere else. I know, maybe performing the ritual as well. Meaning there is someone, possibly a candidate of significant ability and skill, in a nearby village who will bear the Phoenix mark. And once we find this candidate, you will have a partner and will be allowed to leave. I'm confused. Why do Hack and Prude need to stay here then? Zakaria looked uncomfortable with the question. The fact still remains that if we are wrong, Hector has conducted more research related to the subject than any living mage. Oh, so they are suspecting Hector for forcing the pairing or forcing someone out of the pairing, that's. Though my dear will be loath to admit it, his knowledge and insight may be invaluable to determining an alternative course. And he's also knowledgeable about the pairing ritual, yeah. If he knew so much, he thinks he would have known the range of the ritual. She's still a bit salty. Now if you excuse us, we were just about to go. Speak with your seekers. We need to conduct a sweep for candidates immediately. Zakaria maintained a sneer as the two walked away. What does salty mean? Oh, if you're into esports, you would know. It's soldier's term, I think, meaning something around the lines of being upset. Yeah, it's that. I'm just being salty, like, oh my god, high blood pressure. Salty. So salty. Huh, I like it. Well, I can't believe that he just passed out so easily. Are you kidding? He was about 2 steps from the grave in his condition. I want to be sure though, it doesn't bother you, right? Him sleeping in your bed, I mean? He is sleeping alone. Were he to have tried to join me, my opinion may have been different, but as it stands, I have the cause. You're handling better than I would. That's just because you've always had a weakness for boys. No, I mean everything. I was just talking about the bed. And I don't have a weakness for boys, you just have a complete lack of regard for them. You know, we've been here for goddess, how many years has it been? 15, and you have yet to... Please, Pooh, there's more to life than relationships. I know, but... Pooh, look, I had supposed that such things would wait until I was paired and we were truly beginning our lives. So what you're saying is that you want something more romantic, something with more substance than a fling at school? And you don't? Pooh's eye. I'm not sure what I want anymore. Ash's eyes grew wide before she followed Pooh's gaze to the sleeping Hector. You can't possibly mean... I have the solution. Huh. And he just suddenly appeared in the middle. Hector was up with such a joke that both Pooh and Ash were against the wall, arms raised and magic summoned. She is paired with a plant, because clearly if her research is correct. A long pause hung. I've lost my train of thought. More like you woke up from a dream. That may have been it. I'm actually curious as to your thought process there. Well, if Veronica is right and one can animate a plant, in the same way one might animate a corpse, then the same potential for magical energy may exist in a plant. I don't know. Can you... Okay, but here's the thing, can you pair up with a corpse? Like, if you can't pair up with a corpse, then yeah, I guess. But if you can't, then it'll be the same for the plant. So, a plant performed the ritual. Hector allowed a long pause to hang in the air before shaking his head. It made sense while I was sleeping. How do you know so much about my research? I don't share my notes. I figure out the basics by following your reading patterns in the library. What would prompt you to do that? Ash took a step back, suddenly a deal more uncomfortable with the man in her bed. Idle curiosity mostly. I don't actually have all that much to do outside of classes. So you just investigate your students? What? Alright, this guy is creepy. My failure to be paired killed my social life, and my own studies can only maintain my interest for so long. Wow, you're even admitting it. Other students' research occasionally provide a welcome distraction. Not sure if I should be mortified or impressed. I think mortified. I'm allowing for an uncomfortable mixture of both. Wait, yeah, that's Ash. I'm allowing for an uncomfortable mixture of both. That would be reasonable. Oh goddess, do you actually think you're creepy? I had thought that was some joke on Ash's part. I know what time every student wakes up. Normally I would argue that it's definitely creepy. Ash flinched a little at the admittance. Light and shadow here weird. Weirdest in the show, also the best. I think that once me and Pooh get the hang of this pairing thing, I could outmatch the heads. Oh, that's an idea. Pooh, have you ever considered becoming heads? I have a kingdom to worry about first. Oh, very well. I would prefer to avoid staying here anyway. 16 years was enough for me. You've been in this school order thing for 16 years. How old are you? I'm sure you will find plenty of ways to show off in the King's Court. Oh yes, I suppose I should talk to Zachary and Luciana about that. After you were fighting with them? They let you call them by their first name? Wait, they let you call them by their first name? No, I called them by their first names and they must accept it. Hector's face took on a dark expression. Yeah, what happened? They may not acknowledge me as their better, but they will at least provide me the courtesy of eschewing honorifics. Ah. You're being kinda intense there, Hack. Hector's face immediately lightened. He looked almost embarrassed. Oh, my apologies. Do you consider us your lessons then? Hector seemed struck by the question. Ash wasn't entirely sure what had prompted it. Resentment? No, I'm clearly better than you in some areas, but you have an area of expertise entirely removed from my own. The same goes for Prudence, of course. Ah. Alright. Well, I guess this is a good place to end it. The story. So far isn't going anywhere, like... It's just... Alright, the ritual failed and now they're just talking about it. For like, the longest time. Oh well. We'll see if the story gets anywhere in the next episode, so... Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at DMindGaming if you have enjoyed. And I hope to see you again in the next episode.